And there we go. We are live. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for coming to another episode of Meet Your Maker. If it's your first time here, thank you. If you're coming back, welcome back. And if you don't know, Meet Your Maker is a weekly show I like to do. It's live, and we like to bring on different creators from around our community, be it content creators, companies, whatever it might be. And this week, I'm joined by that gentleman right there, John, the Flying Beardsman. How are you today, sir?
I am very good, Joe. How are you doing, man?
Every day kind of feels like Groundhog's Day right now. But besides that, we're healthy.
You could say that again, man. It's seriously the case. Like, I just went on a vacation for like 3 days, and it felt like I had gone to the moon. Came back today, and I was like, "Yep, this is exactly where I left off."
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's really the hardest part about this whole situation is that there's just a lot of nothing happening. Every
Yeah.
day is the same, and it starts to get to you a little bit. You start getting I'm like, I got to go for a walk before I hurt one of the people I live with. I'm going to go for a walk.
I can't tell you how many walks I've taken, bro. Seriously, like, it's so true.
Looking like a fresh cut John. Yeah, what's going on, Eric, Matt, John? I think I saw Chris in here too. Thank you guys all for showing up. I know there's like 8 million streams tonight, guys. So if you're taking the time out to be here right now, I appreciate it greatly. Seriously, it means a lot to me. You guys know that. I don't take any of you for granted. If you take 5 minutes out of your day to come watch me on a live, it means the world to me, man. You guys have no idea. And we actually have had a third guest planned, and we're hopeful that he'll be able to make it still tonight. Twitch Beard will hopefully still be joining us. He's got family things to deal with. He said he's going to try and get here. We told him, don't rush. Do what you got to do. Family comes first always. But the three of us are all kind of linked together, even though when we all did these things, we had never really spoke to each other.
So true. It is kind of funny.
I mean, it is. And if you didn't know, all three of us did fundraisers in the community. We all did charity auctions to raise money for different charities. And none of us really talked to each other beforehand. None of us knew about it, but we all planned it out. And you guys, really, I mean, everybody says we did great. I don't look at it that way. You guys did amazing. This community did amazing because you guys showed up and crushed it in all three.
It's so true. I mean, I couldn't believe how, in such a short time, like I had only been in the community for what, maybe 2-3 months or something like that. Maybe 2. I don't remember what it was, but just started reaching out to companies, and all of a sudden, 70 companies later, it's like, holy crap, we have a fundraiser on our hands. And then I went back and actually watched yours, and I was like, well, I don't know if this is going to get off the ground now. I mean, he raised almost $5,000. Like, are people going to want to open up their wallets again and kind of give to another cause? I thought, if we come out with $1,000, great. 500 each charity, that'd be awesome. Well, like Joe just said, you guys surprised the hell out of us. So I couldn't be more grateful.
And it's funny that you had that attitude because that was my attitude going in too. So I had 2 of my friends join me on the live. One was Bearded Metal Chef, and his job was to keep me moving forward because sometimes I like to ramble and go off course. So I'm like, dude, we got 50 some odd auction items to do. Keep me moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, keep me moving. And then I had Mech on, and he was my secretary, basically. He was keeping track of all the bids. And I said to those guys, I'm like, look, man, to me, the only way tonight's a failure is if no one shows up at all. But, if we raise like $500, it was a win, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I was like, who am I? I'm a guy with a channel that at the time had less than 300 subs. Like, who am I? What did I think I was doing here? But the community showed up and you guys showed out, man. It was really impressive. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny. We had the same kind of mentality going in. And yes, Mick, it is funny to have the tables turned to have me on this side of the equation. I like it every once in a while. It's great. Get out of the hot seat and, or I guess get into the hot seat. But yeah, man, like you and I kind of almost had the same formula. Dan kind of was my color commentary guy. He was so helpful. Like he moved the ball up the court. And I just kind of worried about the progression of things, like you were saying, just kind of keep things, square. And he just provided awesome commentary, really encouraged people. My wife was, the bookkeeper. She's sitting there making sure everything is square and keeping track of all of Gary's nonsense there down at the end. Like, people coming in and throwing in additional items at the last minute.
Yeah,
which is great, but someone's got to keep track of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's great, and it's amazing to see people's generosity. But at the same token, on the other end, you have to keep track of everything, and you have to make sure you've got all these things itemized and everything's accounted for. So when somebody throws, like what Vinny P did with mine, he won the first 4 or 5 items, and then was like, "Okay, Joe, put them all back in." And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, wait, so now I got to, all right, hold on. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to put Vinny P and a star next to his name, and we're just going to move forward, and then I'll come back.
Just let it be what it's going to be. Yeah, I know. It's so true. It's that bounce of having to let it roll and encouraging people to continue going with the auction. But I got to tell you, I was just so surprised pleasantly by everybody's amazing attitude and generosity. It was incredible. It feels like it wasn't even real.
So I got a bunch of things to ask you, but there's one thing I really want to know. So yes. When you were doing this, for me, there was one specific moment that made me go, holy crap, this is going to work. Right. And it was when Gary from Chesapeake put up a mystery gift card and somebody bid like $500 for one. And I was like, holy crap, this is going to work. Like, we're going to do something here today. What was that moment for you when you were doing yours? Like, where you were like, I can breathe. This is going to work. We're going to be okay.
I honestly think for me, it was about like midway through.
Okay.
Like we were like, I think we had 14 rounds. God, if we do it again next year, it's going to have to be like 30 because I feel like we didn't pace it too well. And I was starting to freak out because like we had crammed a lot of items into each tier, each auction tier. And like the bidding was getting high. And I think guys were getting kind of, frozen out of the bidding because we were in such a high level of spending. But, everybody was super flexible and people were like, yeah, just divide the things in half, knock down the bidding number. And it was like round 10, I think, when that happened, because I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh, crap, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And yeah, Sober Chef, yes, sir. Sticker shock. He's right. Yes. And when we decided, let's just carve it down, start the bidding lower, and then people were just throwing money in right and left. I was like, okay, this is going to work. And then down towards the end, I mean, Holly from Whiskey and Hardtack, she just throws down 1,000 bones right there at the end to pick up the last auction item. Then Gary continued going, another $1,000 worth of stuff. And it's just, that midpoint was what did it for me because I was starting to freak out. I was like, oh, crap, we didn't do that. All this preparation, it just didn't work. But everybody was so flexible and offered suggestions. It was, again, we keep coming back to the people that made it. And I would definitely say it was all the people that had given so generously to it that helped even move that along.
I agree 100%. I mean, and the community members, the people who bid, the companies who were like, I felt like there were companies in the live with me watching. They might not have been on screen with me,
right?
But they were in there with me and they were not going to let it fail. They were going to do whatever it took to make sure that it was a successful night. And when you have a surrounding like that, when you have a circle like that, a core of people who are like, whatever we got to do to get you over the hump, we're going to do it.
Yes.
It makes life so much easier because I don't think people realize, man, when you put yourself out there for something like that, all the nerves and everything that comes with it, because you're like, man, if this fails, nobody's ever going to forget that. I'm going to be the guy that had 50 some odd items up for auction and I got $10 for everything and the night was over. Like,
Bro, you're speaking my language. Everything that you're saying was exactly, 1 o'clock in the morning. Juliana and I are in bed like, oh my God, what is this going to work? Did we overprice things? Did we do this? Is this too much? Are we going too big? Is it too, this and that? And you run in circles. And it's like, at the end of the day, when it came time for it to happen, everybody showed up and showed up big. What's up, Colin, Joe? Good to see you
what's
guys.
going on, Kyle, Joe, or whichever one
whoever
it is. What's going on, guys? Whichever one he is, as it is, whoever it is, we welcome both of you, the whole family. Bring everybody. I don't, you know me.
Yeah.
What I thought was amazing as well was that we both had very different paths as how we went towards the bidding and stuff like that. So for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it at individual items. I'm going to start low, and I'm going to hope that things take their turn and go up. Whereas you took things and grouped a lot of things together and turned it into your rounds, which I thought was a great idea. And I've heard from both ends of the community why people liked my way, why people liked your way, what they thought we could both do to make things better.
Yeah.
And I see it from both angles, because like my bidding started at $10. So if it got up that high, it was because you guys bid it up that high. You know what I mean?
I mean, and you're so right. It's funny because once you do these things, of course, you step away and you're like, all right, well, this worked great. I'm so glad it turned out the way it did, but let's figure out a way to improve, right? And you're right. I mean, it really is that, like, there are definitely more advantageous things to each system. And, I know Juliana and I have talked about it next year. I think the bidding's going to just be a lot lower in general. Maybe $5 per round upping, like not really capping past $150 or something like that for the grand prize. I mean, honestly, the thing that did it for us was we had a donation drive where it was just open-ended. It was a $5 minimum donation. You could just throw money into that pot. And what we saw a lot of people donating $5, and we saw a lot of people donating 100, 500, 300, 200. It just, you could leave that open-ended. So I think next year what we'll probably end up doing is even more of that within the auction itself. So just like let people bid what they want. They can start the bidding wherever the hell they want to start it, and just trust that if somebody really wants something that they can get it, but that it's not really about the products, it's about the cause.
Right.
And I think we made, something you did exceptionally well is you made it about the cause. And when you make it about that, I think people don't have any hesitation whatsoever putting money into something like that at all.
Now, see, you were talking about the cause, so you'll have to forgive me here. I can't remember exactly the two charities you did yours for, but I know for me, the charity I selected was because of my own personal life experience and what me and my family have to deal with. Was that the same for you, or was this just something you wanted to do?
So absolutely. It was a combination, really. I mean, at that time, I had a friend of mine who was helping out. Shane was kind of helping out on the St. Jude side of things because that was important to him. And for us, we really wanted to do Pathfinders for Autism, which is a local charity in Maryland, right across the border from us. We live in Delaware. But our son, our oldest son, is autistic. He's on the spectrum, and he has, Pathfinders for Autism has been a really great resource for us. And so we thought, oh my God, well, it'd be great to pick a big charity like St. Jude, where God bless these families that have to deal with having children that have cancer. I mean, God forbid that should ever happen to anyone.
It shouldn't happen to anyone, but unfortunately it does.
It shouldn't. And, we figured that would be a good cause, but also we wanted to make it a little bit near and dear to us too. So, those two things, again, like you said, it's very relatable. They were very personal causes.
Well, see, for me, I felt like mine served a dual purpose, if you will, because along with trying to raise money for a charity I've always tried to support, it was also about raising awareness, because I have such a rare condition that the community knew what I had, but didn't know what it was. Nobody really knew. So for me, as much as we like to say that these things are about raising money, and they are, the money goes to a great charity and it goes towards great causes, funding, research, all kinds of amazing things that they can do with the money. The bigger part to me was always, okay, I had 60 some odd people in here watching tonight. Those 60 people, if half of them went and Googled what I have and what the condition is and what people are going through, that just raised awareness a little bit out there. And that was what was more important for me than anything.
I mean, like, you couldn't have said it better. I agree with that. I think the whole thing is about awareness. And I mean, he's not here yet. We don't know if he's going to be able to join us, but I can speak for Twitch, I think, a little bit, because I did co-host with him. Dan and I both did, for his charity drive, and his was for Tourette's. And I think that is something that is, the more I talk to Twitch, it's very stigmatized. The media portrays it one way. It's always the guy swearing and cursing and doing inappropriate stuff. And it's like, oh, it's kind of funny. Oh, he's got Tourette's,
Yeah. And R-rated comedies forever have made Tourette's look one way. Yeah. Totally. Let's just be honest here. Yeah. That's the way it's been made to look.
And that's the way he said it. And he's like, yeah, that's less than like 1% of people that have this disorder. And he's like, most people, it's not even really noticeable, but it makes their lives very difficult. And then he shared his personal story. And again, there you go. Drawing awareness to a particular thing that maybe some people have heard of, but they don't really know.
But yeah. Absolutely. And I think that was, for me, the biggest thing there was that Twitch, again, very smart, very wise. He understood this is a platform right now. There is a way to get information out there to make people understand, hey, what you're seeing on TV, that's for a movie. It's made that way because it's a funny storyline, but there is a real condition that a lot of people suffer with, and he could give you the actual angle that most people go through.
Right.
And I thought it was very smart by him to go that route and put himself out there. That's not as easy to do as some people would think. But putting your information out there is always scary because you never know how people are going to react to something so personal.
You couldn't be more right. I mean, and my wife is in the chat, and she just said something that's very true. It's the same thing with autism. I don't know how many times we've heard that our son doesn't look autistic. And again,
I've heard people say that to parents, and it drives me nuts.
People throw that crap around, yeah. And and some of it's ignorance. Some of it may be to be offensive and to be edgy. I don't think that's the majority. I think most people just don't know what they're saying. Like, excuse my language, but like, back in the day, I don't know how old you are, Joe, but I'm 35 and
36.
Okay, so we're same age. So back in the day, it was kind of the thing to call people retarded.
Yes, absolutely. And it's something I've had to learn to correct myself on. It is. As I've gotten older, I've had to understand, because you're right, when we were kids, that was a word we just threw around. Like, it didn't mean much to us.
No.
There was another word as well that was thrown around a lot back then. I won't say it right now, but it was a slang term for a gay person.
Oh, yeah. Lots of it. Yeah.
Right. Everybody called each other that. We didn't mean it in a hurtful way, but it was probably very hurtful to a lot of people. But you don't consider that when you're young.
It's so true. And now, I'm a middle school teacher, so I hear kids say that all the time. And I'll never forget, there was a kid in my classroom that said, "Oh man, bro, you're autistic." Said this to another kid that was he was just kind of being silly in class. And I just looked straight at the kid and I was like, my son has autism.
Right. Yeah.
Think, and I said, you gotta think about what you say before you say it. Like,
yeah.
And I hadn't come down on him hard because, again, kids are just trying to be cool. They're trying to say those things to just
absolutely
gain that social capital with their friends, etc. But, fast forward another 10, 15 years, you say that to somebody, you could really, really burn some bridges and hurt some feelings big time. So awareness, there's the key term. Knowledge is gold. Yep.
And I got to tell you, and here's a saying from one of my old bosses, something you just said really chaps my ass. Okay. So when you said that people will actually say to you that your kid doesn't look autistic, right? You said they'll actually say those words. That drives me a little nutty because, okay, so with my condition, if it wasn't for the scars on my head, nothing would show.
Right.
There's no, if I was just walking down the street, unless you knew me, you wouldn't know anything was wrong. And it drives me nuts when somebody says to me, oh, well, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with you. You want to come give this a shot for a little while? Come spend a couple months in my shoes and then we'll talk. So to me, when somebody says something like, oh, well, he doesn't look like he's autistic or something, to me, it's very insensitive, and it's just, they just don't know what they're saying a lot of the time.
And you know, I mean, Joe, would you say that maybe to an extent, and I'm not giving it a pass, but would you say that maybe to an extent some folk, they just don't know what to say, but they feel like they need to say something because
there is a chance.
Uncomfortable.
There is a big chance that some of it is just uncomfortable moment where they don't know what to say, and they think they're actually paying you a compliment by saying, oh, you don't even look sick. You know what I mean? But they don't realize, like, it's a thing that's been cast down on people with what we call like hidden disorders, you know?
Right.
You might not be able to see it, but we suffer. We go through it every day. And when somebody's like, oh, he doesn't even look sick, it hurts a little bit because we're going through it just like anybody else is.
It's so true. Yep.
What's going on, Ken? I saw a few others come in. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not ignoring you. I know you're all there, and you know I love you guys. So, talk to me about like how you and Twitch kind of got hooked up for you to work with him as well. Did he reach out to you, or how did that work?
Yeah, so he did reach out to me. It was, I want to say like maybe a month or so, or 3 weeks or so after my event had passed, after Juliana and I finished everything and started shipping everything out, because he was in our in that event. He was there in the chat, you know, and he was very involved. And you know, I had known of his content before, and I had seen him. I mean, I DM'd him maybe once just to say hey, right? You know, because we all do that. Content creators, we're always just dropping a line saying hi.
Yeah.
But then he said, man, I really want to do something. He goes, I think there's a charity opportunity here for Tourette's. And I was like, oh, like, sweet. Like, do you need any help? I could give you some tips or whatever. And from there, it was just like the rest is history. He just dove in, and I was like, feel free, straight up copy everything I did. I don't care. Let's make this easy for you. You know, like, there's a lot of great resources out there. And, you know, I told him to check out your stream. I said, because that's, to be honest, Joe, that's what I did when I planned mine with Juliana. Is we watched your stream. I was like, okay, here's kind of how they did this. There's their format. You know, I like this. Maybe I'd change that. But like, you get to see something happen live, and then you get an insight into that. And so I just kind of gave him a few tips, and he ran with it, man. Like, he did. He reached out to Dan, and I told him, I said, if Dan can't personally be there, he's at least going to give you some great advice, because, you know, Dan's a pillar in the community. He knows a lot. He's experienced a lot, especially with charity, and it's very important to him. So, you know, he did all of those things. And I would be remiss also to not mention Corinne from Wolf's Mane Beard Company. She was a tremendous help too in Twitch's charity auction. She did a great job, really motivated him, and helped him with some tips and tricks and things along the way too. So yeah, it was a crazy process from like the moment that he just reached out, and you know, it's wild. It only took about a month to plan.
I want to say, like, I was very, very happy to see guys like, and again, I mean, I know you were still relatively new at the time as well, but I was very happy to see guys like you and Dan kind of jumping on with Twitch to give him a hand, because he wasn't really that well known at the time. So I was worried that the word wasn't going to get out there and he wasn't going to get the result he was hoping for. But then when I saw, and again, say what you want about Dan, man, but it stands true. It doesn't matter if you've got 1 million subscribers or 4. If the man is free and you ask him to be on your channel, he's going to come on and help in any way he can.
Truth. 100%. Yep.
It's just the honest to God truth. If he can help, if he can come on, he's going to be there. And I thought it was huge for Twitch because let's just be honest here. The Dan C effect is real. Okay, guys, it's a very real thing. We've seen it in action. When Dan puts his stamp on something or says he's going to be there, people tend to follow over and see what Dan's talking about.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, he took some late night, IG calls with me and Juliana, and we chatted about some things and just format and ideas and just little tips and tricks and things like that, and stuff you don't even think about. But because Dan's been around the block once or twice, it just made things a lot easier. And I feel like, like you said, he just does so much for the community, and it was phenomenal to have him be both a part of mine and Twitch's too, because I know Twitch relied on him a lot too for different things.
So I think I told you this, but I got to tell you, the funniest thing on the planet happened right after your live stream ended. I got a message from an account that doesn't exist anymore. It's now one of those, you can't access the message anymore. I guess they deleted the account or whatever.
Yeah.
But I got a message, and this was the exact message. Hey, brother, don't know if you saw, but Twitch beat, not Twitch, I'm sorry, but Flying Beardsman beat you. And I went, he beat me? What are you talking about, right? Because unfortunately, I didn't get to see the last one where the whole total was put up. So I didn't know how much you guys had made. I'm like, what do you mean he beat me? And he's like, he raised more money than you. He beat you. And I went, I don't think this was a contest.
It wasn't.
I was like, I'm pretty sure this wasn't a contest. And then I was like, oh, man, are people out there actually saying? So that's why I reached out to you at that point and said, hey, man, I saw the thing. It was amazing. If you really break it down, we had raised over $10,000 in less than a month in the same community. That was more what I was focused on, was how much the community had showed up. But this guy was really like, yeah, man, he beat you. He beat you. I'm sorry. I was like, all right.
If you've got to, if you have to measure your worth by who raises more money in a charity stream, you might want to consider doing something else with your life. You know what I mean? Like, oh gosh. And Steve, come on, man.
He is a maker. He's a content maker.
I am a maker of fine, excellent bearded entertainment, sir.
There it is.
And you know that. Come on. You know better than that, Steve.
Steve just likes coming in here and busting chops.
I love Steve.
Steve's a good guy.
And I love the direction he's taking recently with his barbecue content. It's freaking good. The only problem is he's only making me fatter because I watch his stuff and all I want to do is go and eat. And it's like 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, you bastard.
Yeah. Now, you know what, though? Here's what I honestly like, and I've said this to multiple individuals. When I saw, like, Rob Acker start doing the wood turning and stuff on video, when I saw Steve start doing the barbecue, they look genuinely happy when they're doing it.
Yes.
And that's what I like to see, man. Just go do whatever makes you happy. I don't care if 4 people are watching. If you're having fun, it doesn't matter.
Let's touch back on that because it sort of dovetails into what you just mentioned about, oh, he beat you, this and that.
Yeah.
First of all, numbers, subscribers, all that crap. If you're hung up on that, that's fine. I'm a competitive guy, and I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh, I don't look at it. Come on, that's disingenuous. But at the same time, like, I genuinely love talking to people. You genuinely love talking to people. You genuinely love making great content and giving practical advice and portraying that dad life. I think you do that so well. But like, you can tell it's not a chore for you, man. You're doing what you love. And that's again, who cares about numbers? Who cares about stuff? You can't take it with you. You know what I mean? You just got to do what you love and do what makes you feel alive.
And I kind of had to remind myself of that recently because I did fall victim to the numbers thing recently. And I won't lie.
We all do.
It was partly because of you. It wasn't your fault, but it was partly because of you, because I looked at your channel the one day and I'm like, man, he's like almost caught up to me already. And I'm like, I've been at this for like a year. And it just, I don't know why, I let it get into my head and I'm like, watch, give him like a week. He's going to fly by me. And I'm going to be like, oh, there goes that guy that at one point I had more subscribers than. There he goes. And, and I let it creep into my head a little bit, but you're right. You just have to remind yourself that you're having fun. The rest of it will all come when it's time. Just enjoy yourself.
Well, and the other thing too is, Joe, you know, like at the end of the day, you're the best you that there is, you know, and it's easy to say, oh man, I wish I had Dan's following, or I had Dan's charisma, or I had Scuba's, you know, personality or whatever. You know, it's easy to do that. You know, I'm sure at times Michael Jordan looked at somebody else and said, God damn, I wish I had Larry Bird's jump shot, or I had this, or I had that. You know, so if it's good enough for other people to do that, it's good enough for you to do that and hit that reset button. You know what I mean? It's like, I hear you there, because just as much as, you know, you might have done that with me, I'm doing it with other people, you know?
Right, yeah.
I'm stuck at 304. Why can't I move? And I'm like, shut the hell up, man. Shut the hell up.
Right, just yeah.
Stuff. Keep doing your thing. Keep showing up. You know, Woody Allen said 90% of life is just showing up, you know? So you got to just keep showing up.
We also fall victim to the, oh, look, you know, all of a sudden we hit a roll, if you will. And we gain like 40 subscribers over 2 weeks. And we're like, oh, man, I'm rolling. And then it just stops. And we're like, wait, what did I do?
It doesn't make sense. None of it does.
What did I do? What just happened? I was gaining subscribers every day, and now I haven't gained anything in 3 weeks. What just went wrong here? Yeah. But what I've learned is just relax. Sooner or later, it'll pick back up again, and have fun with it. And as Dan put it, Dan actually gave me the kindest kick in the ass I've ever gotten before, by the way. The most polite, friendliest kick in my ass I've ever received. When I was thinking about stepping back from my channel at one point, he messaged me. He was like, cut the crap. Look at all the good you've done around here, and you're going to walk away, knock it off, and go make your video.
Yep.
And I was like, all right. God, I was like, I don't know if that was Dan being rude or not, but I mean, I guess that's about as close as it gets with Dan.
No, I think everybody needs that gut check. I mean, I know Tyson, the Nacho Vacuum, is here in the chat.
What's going on, Tyson?
He's done that for me a couple times, and frankly, a lot of the four Beardsmen have. I know David and Ken have all kind of.
Wait a minute,
you know.
We have our third guest is here.
There he is.
What's up, guys?
There we go. I'm all right, brother. How about you, sir?
Man, just trying to get through this online learning with the kids, man. It's actually fairly tough.
I hear you, dude. I'm not looking forward to school starting back up right now at all.
Right.
Not at all. So if you guys didn't know, this is Twitch Beard. This is the gentleman we were talking about joining us. He also hosted a charity fundraiser in the community. Twitch, go ahead and give him a little background into that one real quick, because me and John have been talking this whole time, so feel free, sir.
Awesome. Yeah, so basically, John's creation behind it all. I saw that he did the fundraiser, or that he did, which contributed to St. Jude's and autism as well. So I figured, why not do one for Tourette syndrome? I've always wanted to find a way to get back, find a way to help that community out. I myself have Tourette syndrome, so I figured, you know, I saw John do it, so I followed his play, and it worked out really well. It was a great turnaround.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again,
guidance.
I mean, again, I think it's amazing that this community shows up the way it does, and that the people in the community are trying to bring awareness to different situations, like you with yours, and like I did, and like John did. Really, I mean, it was amazing to me that all three of the men on this screen did this, and at the time, none of us had spoken to each other really. You know what I mean? I mean, I think me and John had maybe had one conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't friends at the time. We didn't know each other well, but all three of us ran with it. And I was just telling John, Switch, something funny that happened was right after his stream ended, somebody messaged me from one of those, you know, not real accounts and said, oh, yeah, man, By the way, just so you know, Flying Beardsman beat you. And I went, he what? And he went, yeah, he beat you. He raised more money than you. And I went, good. I was like,
You gotta love those fake accounts,
so,
right?
yeah, I just look at him like, I mean, is that really all you have going on right now, that you have to go make a fake account
Right.
to start trouble? But, you know, they're going to be out there. What are you going to do? We should almost expect that when we enter into the social media world and put ourselves out there as public figures, that there's going to be those guys. You can't avoid them.
Definitely.
So, guys, both of these real quick, if you don't mind, if you guys remember, I know it's not easy, but if you guys remember, could you both put out there how much you guys were able to raise in total for your charities?
I think we topped out at like, it was either 59 or 6,100, because like Sphinx Beard came in at the last minute and just like a week or two after the thing had ended and threw another $500 in.
Very cool.
And then that just kind of like that tipped the scales in another direction. I can't remember. I want to say it was like 5,900 and some change. I think all said.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We did 2,205, so a little over $2,200 or 2,250, I believe, something like that.
It's crazy.
Okay, so and then mine was 4,694, I believe. So when you add all of that together, this community raised over $13,000 for charities, and that really should have been the main takeaway from all three of the streams combined, is what this community just did. We're not talking about a community of millions of people here. We're a relatively small community when you really compare it to the other ones out there. But people showed up. And somebody actually asked me the other day, like, oh, are you ever going to like do a thing and thank the people who really helped a lot? And I'm like, man, I don't want to go on a screen. And it's easy. I could say Tyson from Faithfully Bearded. He was huge. He did a live beforehand and said, listen, you know, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he said however many of something he had or people he got in the live, he would donate that right away. And he asked others to match that. And they did. So almost right away starting off, we started off for like $600 because of all the companies that agreed to match what Tyson was doing. And like Rockin' the Beard was huge. Gary over at Chesapeake was huge. Vinny. But I'm like, I don't want to sit there and go through it, and I'm afraid I'm going to miss somebody because there were so many people who helped. I don't want to leave anyone out.
Yeah, and it would be easy to do that, you know, because you could sit there and thank everybody. But I think all of those guys would turn it right back around and say, well, you know, thank the community. Thanks to the people that actually came out and showed up and gave back and contributed. You know, there's a lot of class. There's a lot of class in this community, you know, and yeah, does it have its flaws at times? Is there drama? Yeah, of course. But, you know, at the end of the day, people are in it, I think, for the greater good of everyone involved. And to me, if that's not apparent between all three of ours, then, you know, give me whatever you're smoking because I'd love some of it.
Yeah, very well said.
No, I definitely agree. I think that it was, and especially like being newcomers. I think Joe, out of all three of us, you've probably been here the longest. So just a newcomer coming into this and just, you know, asking for some help and some guidance that I got from John and from Print over at Wolfsmane, and then everybody else that, you know, showed up and all the companies that donated. It was just, it was overwhelming in a good way. See that so many people are down for the cause and willing to help out, and they don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? So that was just really refreshing, and it just goes to show that you know, there's still good people left out in the world, and it's just so fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to know that we are part of that group of good people in the world.
Yeah, and that's, first of all, John, you're absolutely right. Is it perfect? No, and it's never going to be. We're all human. We're all prone to error. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to clash with each other at times. It's going to happen. But more than not, what I've seen in this community is even when there is something and somebody does clash with someone else, sooner or later, they're going to find their way to resolve it between each other, and they're going to move on from it.
Yeah.
And I think this community, for me at least, I've shown it off to a lot of people because a lot of my family and stuff are like, oh, you're making beard videos and like, come on. And I'm like, listen, time out. Before you judge anything, and I'll show them what Twitch did and what you did and what we did. I'm like, that's what this community is. Take away the beard products. It's a group of amazing people who support each other and always show up when something big is going on. And that's why I'm proud to be here.
100%. I mean, honestly, I would say that this right here, this isn't even secondary. It's tertiary. I mean, it's third down the row. I would say the secondary thing that brings us all together is just a sense of community and brotherhood and camaraderie. But I would say the first thing that comes into all of it is just the desire for everybody to connect and be a part of something bigger. You know what I mean? The facial hair, that is what it is. It's the door, that gets you into the house. But everything else is just, that's where the real meat and potatoes come in. What's up, David? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know if you guys are fans of the show, but it's almost like The Walking Dead, how, it's based around zombies, if you will. But if you watch the show now, the show's about people and about the way people behave and their patterns and things like that. And, oh, by the way, there's still zombies back there somewhere.
Yeah, right.
It's become more about the aspect of people and the way they would behave if the world collapsed tomorrow, which lately is starting to become more and more like a real feeling right now with all that's going on.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I mean, Twitch, what do you, as far as like, coming off of this thing, how has everybody received, your efforts? What did the Tourette's Association of America have to say to you? Were they super surprised and shocked, or did they give you feedback? Or
I have not had any feedback from them. What I have noticed is that their online presence isn't as big as other organizations. Okay. They don't have as many followers as some of the others out there. They are very active. Like I've conversated with them, and they were pretty responsive. But it did take a little bit. But once they did reach out back to me, they were responsive. I haven't heard since then. Who knows if I will? But at the end of the day, I'm just glad that I was able to do that. And bring some awareness to Tourette's. And as far as like the comment that you had made with the drama, I mean, yeah, but isn't that like 90% of everyone's family? We all have like some drama, or we all don't like that one brother, or we don't like that one, or that one grandma that just always has something to say and with her. It's just, it is what it is, and we all accept them, and because they're our blood. So I think if we could easily accept somebody, our family, who sometimes I think pisses off even more than a stranger would, why can't we be forgiving and come together for a good cause, which I think has been shown time and time again.
Yeah, and John, I would actually pose the same question to you now, sir. How was the reaction from those charities when you were able to actually donate the money in?
Well, we knew St. Jude would probably be relatively quiet and send some form letter or form email, because I mean they're a massive charity, and they do a lot of work, and I mean that's what I got. And I listen, you don't do it for the accolades and for all that stuff.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, that I kind of expected that from a larger charity, larger firm. But on the other hand, Pathfinders for Autism, the CEO called me, and she was like, listen, I make these calls for anything over $500, notwithstanding whatever it was. I think it was like $3,100 that we gave to them. And she's like, so how did this happen? Like,
Right.
and so I told her about it, and sure enough, she knew of the bearded community. And evidently, there is a bearded community that specifically focuses on autism in the state of Maryland. So I joined that Facebook group and connected with them. And she's already talking about doing something else in November. So it's like that was really cool to get that exposure and kind of hear that what we did made a difference. And I got to highlight the fact that there were tons of people that contributed, both companies and a lot of these people that are right here in this chat contributed very heavily, whether it was $5 or 500, didn't matter. Everyone gave back, and it was just cool to highlight that as a movement, like we were just talking about, as a movement, we were able to do that collectively and cooperatively.
Right. And I had a very similar experience. I was actually very pleased. So when I was maybe about 28 or so, Sam was still little. We did another charity for the same. We did another fundraiser for the same charity. Excuse me. And we actually did it though, like in person at the Knights of Columbus. It was a tricky tray, and we raised about like $3,000 that day. And with that experience, all I wanted from them was like a letter for the Knights, because the Knights kind of donated everything. And we just had a really bad experience there. So it took me a while to reach back out to this charity again. And then when we started working together again, when I sent in this donation, same thing. I get a call from the CEO, and she's like, so I don't want to sound rude here, but I looked you up. There's no way that this all came from you. Like,
Yeah.
Like what happened here? And I sent her over, like I had a log with everything, and I sent her over everyone's name, and I'm like, this is what happened. And she was absolutely in shock. She sent over a letter, which I went live and read to everybody, thanking the whole community. And then more recently, they reached out to me, and apparently they want to use my bearded dad story and all that stuff for their national newsletter now. So it's been a pretty whirlwind experience with them. It's been crazy, and none of the stuff that is happening that I expect from doing the fundraiser.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that she's like, oh, we have this and that, and we're going to share it with this network. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, time out. I was like, you need to share what with who? Because some of those videos, I'm like kind of disheveled and crazy looking. Like, we really going this road? I was like, but I think it's kind of Dan preaches to a lot of people though. Positivity breeds positive results, and if you put the right stuff out there, a lot of the times the right stuff comes back to you.
Yeah. It's very true, for sure.
So, yeah, I know. That's true. And I give credit where credit's due. That gentleman right there, that beard guy, Kansas City, Dave, when I first had the idea of doing a fundraiser for the Children's Tumor Foundation, the first person that messaged me was Dave. And he said, I think it's time for an auction. And my response to him was, because he had done the one for the summer camp by him. And I said to him, Dave, man, I don't know if I have that kind of pull with the companies and the community. I don't know if people are going to show up. He's like, shut up and do it. Like, just shut up and do it. Dad, start reaching out to people and watch what happens. And he was right. So I got to give credit where credit's due. I don't know if I'd actually gone the road I did if I hadn't have talked to him.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny how everybody kind of has that one person that sort of pushed them down the road, and even if it's not just one person, collectively, just the people that help push them down the road too. I mean, even Twitch, and getting to know him a little bit. It was so cool to get to see somebody that had the same fire and was willing to put themselves out there and owned it just so effortlessly. it was just exciting to watch. And then it's like, okay, so then you have that experiential moment, Joe, where you went first, and I kind of, joyfully stole some ideas from you, and then
Absolutely.
same from me, and it was like nobody gave a shit because it was all for good causes and all for the furtherance of things that are actually meaningful, and it gets thrown around a lot, but people say, oh, it's just beard oil, it's just this, it's just that. Yeah, it is, it just is that, yes, but it's what's behind it. I think
yes,
that
absolutely
is the crazy thing. And yes, thank you, Gabriel, my haircut is looking pretty good. I appreciate that.
Gotta love it, man. The guys in this community, they're always throwing comments out and always being polite to each other. They're always telling me I look great. I look great. I know you guys are lying to me, but that's cool. It's fine. I appreciate you guys lying to me.
Hey, and I'll take lies at this age. Are you kidding me? I'll take lies. Bring it on.
I'll take all the lies on the planet. Just Absolutely. Like the girl at the store the other day who was like, oh, are you old enough to buy cigarettes? I was like, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes, appreciate that.
I said, it makes me feel like, I know you're lying to me right now, but it's cool. So that was nice of you.
Those are the best.
But real quick, if I can, this gentleman right here, and I'm just going to throw any comment he has up. Sober Chef Eric actually has a charity auction coming up.
Yep.
So, and it's tied to his story. If you need to know more, contact Eric. And just like this, I have you know what? When I did mine, I didn't know if people were going to show up. Since then, as I've seen what this community does, I've got no doubts that people are going to show up for Eric, and the community is going to show up and support him.
100%. I know he reached out to me and asked me to help co-host that, and I know the Kyle and Joe are jumping in on it too, and they've been. I mean, we're DMing all day, trying to get companies behind it, and guys, it's just amazing. It's the same story, without sounding too boring or repetitive. Some people reach out, you think, okay, well, these companies aren't going to do it, and then they do. And before you know it, you've got yourself a charity ready to go. It's crazy.
Yeah, Eric actually reached out to me and told me what he was doing. And I said to him, I'm like, if you need anything, if you need someone else on the screen, whatever it might be, brother, I'm here. I was like, I'm here. And I think he said something like, I think he told me that you and Kyle and Joe were running it, and he's going to talk to you. I'm like, listen, whatever you guys need, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? You want me to moderate? Whatever. Whatever you need, I'm there, 100%.
Well, and I think he was even talking about potentially having some guys like roll through as it goes on. He's really got some big goals for this, and he should. It's a very momentous occasion, and for everyone that doesn't know, it's 9 years of sobriety for him.
Absolutely,
which is just astounding. And if you haven't, heard his story, you can just talk to him about it. I know I interviewed him, and my jaw was on the floor when I was talking to him, because he put it all on the table, and the man is just such an inspiration. So I cannot wait to be a part of that.
Yeah. And I just want to say something real quick. And if it's true, I'm deeply touched by it. So somebody reached out the other day and was talking about how some of the people in the community have been doing more of these more personal videos lately, and kind of, talking more about their life and this and that. And he was like, I think this has something to do with you, because when you started doing the Chronicles of the Bearded Dad and you opened up your life and you just told your story, I think a lot of people saw that it was met very positively, and that's led to a lot of other people not being afraid to share their stories. And if that's the case, I'm incredibly touched by it. But more than that, I am always amazed when one of you guys come out and have zero fears and just lay everything out there for the community to see. And it amazes me every time I see somebody do it, man. Really, it's an amazing sight to see.
Definitely.
So we'd be remiss not to do a little bit of beard talk here, guys. Just a little bit. I mean, we got to do a little bit of it, right? We're all beard channels, so we got to get there a little bit.
I'm going to top my whiskey off if we're going that direction. Let's. Let's make this happen.
All right. So just a little bit of beard talk here, right? So both of you guys, what was your first product you ever used?
Twitch, you can go first. I'm gonna doctor this
All right.
whiskey up here.
First beard product that I tried, that I had bought was probably some beard oil from Sally's. I started growing beard. I kind of started Googling, like, things for beard. So I started hearing about like Live Bearded, our beard brand. And when you first going into it, you see the price range. Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Where I'm gonna grow like a longer one or shape it a certain way or anything like that. It's always been close, neckline. You gotta edge it in real good because it's too long. It looks funny. So I bought a bottle of like some has like some bourbon smell and stuff over at Sally's, and then from there I looked up into Beard Baron, and he was like my real small batch, I guess you would say, first buy. But
Nice. I was Honest Amish. My buddy Justin kind of encouraged me to grow a beard. He had started one, and he said, "You gotta get into products, man." I was like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Products? Like, what's this? Oil in my beard? Cut me a friggin' break, And he's like, no, try this stuff. It's $12 on Amazon. It smells really good. It lasts a long time. You only really need to buy it 3 months. Yeah, we all know how that story goes, right? And it's just was downhill ever since. I just it blew my mind. Like, because I had only gone. I don't know if you guys have similar stories, but like I'd gone a month before and been like, this sucks. I hate this crap. And I just don't want to use. Just don't want to have to keep maintaining this. I just shave it off. But I'm telling you, I threw that stuff in. And I was like, okay. And then the rest is history. Just started watching Dan, started watching Scuba, started watching Mo and all these other guys, and just here we are.
Yeah. So I can echo that thought. I've had a beard of some sort my entire life, but what happened was as soon as it started to grow a little, it would start driving me nuts because it was itchy and it was all over the place. And I was like, you know what? Nope, just take it back down to like the chin strap and I'm done. You know what I mean? Leave me alone. And then finding beard products, though, changed everything for me forever. And I got to tell you, dude, I got to echo, and I'm probably going to say the name wrong here. Susanna? I'm saying that terribly. But I got to echo their thoughts here. Honest Amish is a very fortunate first product, sir. Okay? Very fortunate, because my first product was Cremo. And I was like, ugh, why would anybody want to use this stuff, right? But then I was like, all right. So I'd actually found Scuba first, right? And then I found Dan. And I saw a video where he said, something like, if you're getting started, Honest Amish is a great company if you're just getting started. And I was like, okay, all right, let me try one more here. Because Honest Amish isn't very expensive. So it wasn't going to kill me. Got it. Thought my beard felt amazing. I didn't care for the scent profile on it, really. But I was like, that was the one that showed me, okay, this stuff, there's something here. That there's something to all this. Little did I know where that one Amazon purchase was going to lead me in the future. I mean, it's amazing to think that a hospital visit, an order from Amazon, and a Dan C video has led me to where we are today.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, like, I never forget that, thinking, oh, well, this is 2 ounces. It's going to last forever. I'm only going to need to buy this, 4 times a year, if that. Right. I'm sure we all share that similar.
I thought, oh, yeah. What am I going to need? Buy 1 or 2 oils maybe every couple months if I'm lucky. And, next thing I knew, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to build a new wall in my room or something like that real soon. Like I got to figure this out here.
For real.
Now I got the women in my house getting mad at me because I'm taking up too much space in the bathroom and stuff. And I'm like, well, now you guys know how it feels.
Yeah.
Now you know what it feels like.
Payback's a bitch.
So was that your first though for you, John? Was that like your first? Wow, there's something to this product. Like Honest Amish was the one that really opened your eyes, basically.
It did. It got me in the door, and then I mean, Beardbrand was running that $25 old money special starter kit, and you know they give you like the little beard oil that's like this big, and they give you 3 little samples of stuff. And as soon as I smelled that, I was like, oh, this is going to be an obsession, you know. And it did. Then you just started watching so much content on YouTube, and then it was just getting in trouble with my wife for buying a bunch of crap, you know. So, you know, and yeah, thank you, Gary. Yes, you've been a part of that too. So,
yeah,
you know, it's just funny, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
The one for me, honestly, though, that really like was the one that I went, oh, I'm in trouble here, was actually one of the ones that Twitch said he saw the ad for was Live Bearded. I got the American from Live Bearded, and I went, oh my God, what did I just find?
Right.
And at that point, I knew, I'm like, if there's more stuff out there that smells like this, I want it. You know, and then it went from like, you know, oh, 1 or 2 beard oils a month to, you know, 5 to 10, 10 to 20. And I've now got a collection of around 160, and I've given my brothers about 80.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's gotten crazy, but I enjoy every minute of it, man. Every time an order comes to the door, my mom's like, I don't get it. You don't have 8 million beards. Where does this stuff go?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, and I don't know. I think you can. There are a lot of hobbies that people justify, you know, and to me, this is one that I don't think is all that expensive when you compare it to some other things that people drop money on. Things that I've dropped money on. Hell, absolutely. I love golf. You know, I'm a decent golfer, and you know, $40 on a thing of balls. You know,
you enjoy standing out in the heat and getting pissed off and swinging around with your balls all day long.
Dude, I'm from New Jersey, just like you. That's every day. Any excuse to get mad and irritated and drink, I'll take that. So
I can't even argue with you because that's anytime I've ever gone to the golf range or anything, it's like, all right, give me about like 3 or 4 strokes, and then let me go hit the bar real quick. I'll be back. It's an excuse for me to get angry and get drunk.
And no matter how good you get at it, it always goes that route. So,
never tried the bearded. Smoky Mountain was my first. Very cool. Coming out. Spence tomorrow, Tyson, and I don't. Oh, you're gonna have Spence on tomorrow? Very cool. Very cool. I'll check that out for sure. So when did you guys say, okay, I got the products, I got all that, but you know what? I want more than that. When did the idea come for the channel? Oh, we just got joined. Hi.
Yeah, there you go. Twitch, why don't you go first and introduce your guest?
Yeah.
All right, so this is Lindsay. She is 6. She is the youngest of the 4 kids that we have. So she always tries to find the opportunity to come in on a live or a video. As soon as she gets that opportunity, she just jumps in there. The idea for the channel really only came because really I wasn't even looking to do any reviewing. I was just looking to make hats for those who are bearded and call the company Twitch Beard. And that was really it. I figured out to be the best way to kind of market that, throw that out there would just be to make some videos. So I said maybe just do a few review videos and throw that out there and see what happens. And then before you know it, I'm just, getting comments here and there. And, after the fundraiser, people started reaching out a little more. and telling me how they appreciate the fact that I wasn't really. It didn't seem like I was too scared to put it out there, and minor edits, so you could just definitely see me ticking and not even caring anymore. And after that, I was like, all right, I guess it's just game over. I guess this is what I'm just gonna do. And just at that point, I've just been putting out content since. It kind of started for awareness and just kind of showing people that even if you have something, you can still be part of any community or put out videos. A lot of people get discouraged. Oh, well, I have this or I have that. I can't make videos. Yeah, you can. Anyone can make videos. The hardest part is just hitting that upload button. But once you do it and you get past it, it's no big deal. But yeah, it's pretty much where it came from. And then the kids kept bugging me saying they wanted, because they watch kids play on YouTube. So they also kind of kept pushing to wanting their own. I'm like, well, let me figure out what this whole YouTube kind of uploading stuff is about, and then we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where it all came from. Where it all started was just a hat, just trying to get something off the ground.
It's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool.
Videos, I know.
I mean, for me, it is actually somewhat sort of similar to Twitch in that, like, I was watching a lot of videos. I was involved in the community. I started, going to Command's Corner a lot and getting to know some of the guys. And then, like, I watched, it was a live that Dan did with Scuba. And they were talking about YouTube content creation because COVID had just hit.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I'm a teacher, so I was like, well, I'm kind of on the sidelines right now, and I'm a creative, so if I can't be making things, I will make everyone's life miserable. So I was like, I've got to do something. So, I listened to that live, and I was like, okay, maybe it's beard related, maybe it's not beard related. Let's try this. And actually, one of my first videos, I reviewed Honest Amish. It's the only review I've actually ever done because I'm not a reviewer. And I did that, and I was like, this is not for me. Like, I don't want to do this. And I just remembered back to, like, a lot of people in my life have told me that I have a great voice, and I do. I'm blessed. I'm blessed with a good voice. It's memorable, it's powerful. And I was like, somebody told me I could be on the radio one day. And I was like, well, why the hell do I need to talk to people? Let's just talk to people. Let's just get to know what I would want to know. Like, I tried Bearded Mac. I wonder what he would tell me about his company. And I was like, but there's got to be an angle here. There's got to be a name for this. And like all of my best ideas, I came up with the idea for the show while I was sitting on the John. And
there you go. Best place to do your thinking.
That's right, man. I was like, it's got to be snappy. It's got to be a name, two things. And I was like, well, what do I like? I like whiskey. Could it be like whiskey and something? I was like, oh, Whiskers and Whiskey. That'll be the name of the show. And so the rest is history. I reached out to Chris. He said, yes, let's sit down and talk. And I just kept asking people, and so far no one said no.
me and Chris are going to have some words here. Me and Chris are going to have words because I reached out to him. I didn't get a no. I got a, man, I'll let you know, man. I hate doing live streams. That's what I got.
He does. And listen, that's not bullshit because I've even asked him to come back and do another one, and it's been like pulling teeth. But I think we can maybe get him there someday.
I told him, I said, listen, I'm not going to ambush you or nothing like that. Don't worry. It's all fun, all good. But he's like, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. It seems like it's really a deep-rooted fear for him. He just hates doing lives.
He does.
But, it's funny. We're both from Jersey, like you said, and great Jersey minds must work the same exact way because I came up with Meet Your Maker on the John. Like that's where it happened. I wanted to do a live. I had been talking about it. And I'm like, well, if I did, what would I call it? I wanted to be something like where it's a funny play on words, if you will.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, Meet Your Maker, right? And then when I announced it, actually, that metal guy, Steven, when I put it out there, COVID had just started. And he's like, oh, leave it up to Joe. COVID starts, people are dying, and Joe names his show Meet Your Maker. Good job, Joe. And I went, That wasn't what I was going for exactly, but I still think it's catchy and it sticks. So there you go.
It's funny how those things come and hit you. And like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I've always been the kind of guy that wanted to create something, wanted to do something related to making content. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever dabbled in anything else before you got into all of this, but I mean, I know even 2 years ago, I had a podcast. My last name is Gross, which is like always an awkward name that's followed me around my whole life. And I just embraced it. And I was like, well, I'll make a podcast where I'm just going to start talking to people,
Right.
anybody. And it didn't really have a directive. It was just like, let's just talk to people. And it ultimately failed because there was no unifying factor to it. I stuck with it for a while. I mean, I made
you were trying to do the Jerry Seinfeld of podcasts.
Yeah, basically. I mean, if I had stuck with it, it probably would have worked because, you stick with anything and it works, right? But it just didn't have that unifying theme. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes you got to go through those things to kind of maybe find the thing that really ultimately ends up working for you. Because for me, what I learned during that, it's helped so much with doing this. I don't know if you guys ever like dabbled in anything else before that kind of maybe didn't.
I'm ashamed to say I did. So if you want to have some fun, and this is the first time I'm ever going to say this, unless you watch my first video ever, nobody else will ever heard this. But if you really want to have some fun and you want to find some ammo to make fun of me with, go ahead and look up FTW Entertainment, okay? And it was me and my brothers and a friend of mine, and we were doing videos about like WWE reviews and boxing reviews and reactions to fights and things like that. And really, if you watch those, they're a few years back now to what I am now, two very different people in the world, okay? Oh, yeah. I was coming off a divorce at that time. I was an angry dude, man. And it showed on my videos that I was an angry dude at the time. But you know what I mean? You live, you learn. I had fun with it still. But when I finally decided to get away from that, I was like, I still want to do YouTube, though. I enjoyed the content process of it. I liked getting on. And realistically, what I found is, and I'm probably always going to make videos. That's probably not going to end. But I enjoy this more. I like the lives. I like having the conversations with people. Yeah. I like getting to know people, and I think from what I've been told so far, at least, I do pretty well with it. See, people seem to like the show. So that's always a positive.
This is my first time on this side of the fence, so you're nailing it. Yeah.
It's weird on that side of the fence, though, when you're used to hosting, isn't it?
It is bizarre. I got to tell you, it's a lot less pressure. I didn't write anything before I sat down tonight, so that's great. I love that.
Oh, I'm not the only person who does that. Cool. All right, good. I'm not the only one who does it. That's a good thing to know. I was like, I wonder if other guys sit here and write. I don't have like a full itemized. I have like a rough draft, if you will.
Yeah.
Like topics where if I'm like, okay, we've been sitting here for 10 seconds, nobody's talking, throw something out there. There we go. Throw that out there.
Yeah, I always have an outline because sometimes there are those moments where it's like, okay, where do we go? Okay, well, here's this, Yeah.
Well, talking honestly here from a content creator standpoint, when you host live like this, and if we're just being really honest here, it's not all on us. The guest has to be open, and they have to be, willing to go back and forth and really dive into subjects. Whereas if it's like, oh, so you started a beard company, is that something that's been going well for you? Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, yes and no, nothing. All right.
Yeah. Move on. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, those ones are kind of tough, but like when you have a guest that's willing to open up and talk and not afraid to just go out there and be themselves, it winds up being a great live and a moment that everybody talks about. So it really goes, at the end of the day, it depends on who you have in that guest spot 90% of the time.
It does. And it can be interesting sometimes. I mean, I've started doing less recorded episodes. I had done some recorded episodes with a bunch of people, and that that was good. But I like the energy in the live so much more.
Right.
There's just something about it that's palpable.
But it can work both ways, sir. If we're just being honest here,
It
the
can.
energy can be through the roof. But then there's also times you hit that live button and there's 2 people in the room and you're like, oh no, come on now, come on guys, where are you? Come on, because that can suck the energy right out of you. Where you're like, well, why am I doing this? There's 2 people watching right now, and one of them's probably me. Like, so it can go both ways. It really can. But to me, the live streams, I just have a lot more fun with them. And I don't know what it is. When I record something, it's like I have this image of the way I'm supposed to do things. But when I go live, I don't have time to think about that stuff. I'm just me. And it shows a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like there's more pressure, but in a sense that makes me perform better.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I think more cleanly because I'm just going by my gut. I'm not having too much time to sit, ruminate, cogitate, swirl around and think about, oh, well, should I have said it this way? You just don't have time. You just do it.
Right. No, I have to agree with you there because you're right. It's more instinctual, if you will. You just go, and you're just reading and reacting a lot of the times, going off the room, and you don't have time to really sit there and wonder, oh, was that dumb? Was that good? Was that bad?
No.
Whereas if you're recording a video, you can kind of start and then you're like, nah, it was terrible. Stop. Where it might have actually been really good, though. You don't know.
It should have just let it go.
You're your own worst critic a lot of the time. So maybe it was fine, and you just deleted your best cut, and now you're putting up something that was worse. So
it's true.
So, all right, guys. So we're getting almost to that. It's about 1:16 here, so I usually try to keep it around an hour and a half, depending. And I know Twitch has got the kids and stuff, so I've got my little lightning round all set up, or whatever people want to call it. Okay, just a bunch of random questions, nothing crazy. All right. So if you guys are ready, we'll go through these real quick, and I guess we'll work like this and then down. So we'll go to John, and then Twitch can answer. That work for everybody? All right. Hold on. I'm on the wrong page. Good job, Joe. See, there it is, live.
They're live.
I can't hit the stop button there.
While you're getting that, Sober Chef said he'd love to be a guest on Meet Your Maker anytime. And having had him on my show, you will not be sorry.
That actually just came. So my StreamYard's running real slow. I've noticed you reading comments well before I see them on my end, unfortunately. Okay. So it actually just came up. Eric, dude, you know how to reach me, bro. DM me. I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of booked up through October right now, but we'll get you on. That's for sure. We'll get you on. I am a little booked up right now, which is awesome, by the way. The fact that I have companies reaching out and wanting to come on is amazing. I'll never get tired of that. It's like, seriously.
Definitely.
All right. I got my page now. I'm good. We're ready.
All right.
All right. Favorite war movie?
Favorite war movie?
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to say Saving Private Ryan. I can watch it over and over and over again. Tom Hanks is masterful in that. Matt Damon, not so much, but Tom Hanks is great in that. And I don't know. I love the progression of that movie. I never get tired of it.
Twitch?
If I have a favorite, I guess if I had to go with one, it'd be Navajo Code Talkers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I know the one you're talking about.
If you guys have seen it. It's not like I wouldn't say like a, I don't know, it's not like Saving Private Ryan or anything, but I guess that's like one of the only ones that really comes to mind for me.
Yeah. Favorite beers?
Well, it's going to be tough. I live in Delaware, and we have a Dogfish Head pretty close. Dogfish Head is phenomenal. I love Dogfish Head a lot. Probably their Namaste is really good, and there's a couple other ones that I like, but probably Namaste is really good. Yeah, I like that from Dogfish Head.
I would have
Twitch,
to go
my
with a
brother?
local brewery. Four Peaks Brewery out of Tempe, Arizona, man. They got some kill lifters that are pretty legit, like a dark amber ale. So I'd have to probably go with one of those. And if not, then I would go with like an 805.
Something else this community has made me realize is I suck as a beer drinker because I've stayed like with the main name brands my whole life. I gotta branch out, man. I gotta go find some of these other guys.
Dude, I suck down Miller Lite like it's my job sometimes, so don't feel sorry. Every now and again, you got to put the brown stuff aside and go for some easy drinking, and that's what I go with.
Oh, there's one I really want to try right now, but I can't find it anywhere around here. So I'm a huge wrestling fan, and Stone Cold put out his own beer.
Oh,
I can't get it anywhere around here. I've been looking like crazy. I can't find it. So
I love it.
Next one, favorite rock band.
Man, that's tough because I'm a big music guy.
Yeah, so am I. I'd be pissed at myself if I asked myself this question.
It's tough because of the genres and eras that you have to work through. For me, it's hard to beat Zeppelin. I don't know. It's just for me, it's hard to beat Zeppelin. I mean, between Robert Plant's voice, Jimmy Page on the guitar. I mean, obviously John Bonham on the drums too, but I think just that kind of combination of innovation that the two of them did, plus the massive amounts of drugs that they did. And they produced music that I think can't be done in any other way. I don't know. Zeppelin for me just encompasses so much as far as their style is concerned. They did everything. It's hard for me not to give them the plug.
Twitch?
I'd have to go with AC/DC because that's like my dad listened to the most when I was growing up. So I have to give it to them just because there's always like that nostalgia when you listen to them, like growing up and
Very cool. Very cool. For me, it'll always be a tie at the top, at least for as long as I can see. Leonard Skinner is always going to be right there. And then being a Jersey guy, Bon Jovi's always got a spot. I know it's not something that guys say all that often, but I grew up around here, man.
He's classic.
And John kicked ass live. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten a chance to see him live.
My dad
tears the house down.
He said the same thing. My dad said he's seen a lot of shows, but there's nothing like that. Yeah, you're right.
Dude, the energy that man brings to a stage is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
He's an animal.
So, being from Jersey again, and I know that the man next to me is as well, so let's see. I haven't gotten somebody who can answer yet, so we'll see. Favorite Sopranos character?
Oh.
I know, forget about it. What am I thinking?
Yeah, there's so many. I don't know. I like probably Paulie.
Paulie Walnuts.
Paulie for me, I mean, first of all, just the style and his old school way of thinking. And then the wings, the silver
yeah,
white.
the wings.
Great. But the way he always talks with his hands like this, and I know guys like that, grew up around guys like that everything was always punctuated, talking like that and sticking your fingers in people's face, he just reminds me of so many people I grew up around. And I don't know, he's, I'm not going to do a big spoiler alert, but he's one of the last people standing in that show.
Yes. I found that very amazing too about that show, that he was one of the ones that was left standing.
Yeah, it's really funny because you would have thought, and yes, Sober Chef, yeah, Big Pussy, obviously a great character as well.
Oh yes.
Yep, big time, great character,
short-lived character, but amazing one.
Ralph Cifaretto too. He's a piece of crap.
But he was an amazing character.
Great character, and I love when he got greased. It was great.
You know who else I thought was very good? I'm sorry, Twitch. I'm sorry, Twitch. I'm just.
Oh, you're good. I've never
the guy, Phil Leotardo. Phil.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Such an asshole. You really hated him. Like, you couldn't wait to see him get his.
And when he did, it was probably one of the most spectacular finishes ever.
And one of the most fulfilling moments in my television history for myself.
You wanted him to be gone for 2 seasons. And
oh, my God.
It just finally happened. Oh, it was so good. I think the most.
Who ran the bada bing? That was Silvio.
Yeah. Silvio.
Twitch, do you have a favorite?
I've never watched any of them for one episode, and I only know that the guy that ended up passing away. And it's like the one.
James, Tony.
Right.
So, yeah, I think Tony's the easy choice because obviously it was a legendary performance by James Gandolfini. In fact, it was his greatest performance ever, if we're just being honest. He'll forever be known as Tony Soprano.
Right.
There's no debating that.
But I I think that holds a spot all by itself. So I always like to look at the other guys and find my favorites. And more than not, man, I found myself really liking the assholes. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know, like Phil Leotardo was amazing.
Yep.
Johnny Sack was great because here was this, oh, I'm on your side, Tony, we're best friends, until he got the captain spot, and then
double top.
Everything changed.
Yeah, Johnny Sack, you loved him. In a sense, you rooted for him at times. You know, when he was
at the end,
corner,
you felt terrible for him.
You did because he got. Yeah, thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Darren.
Face only a mother can love. Why do you think I drink, Dan? It's to deal with all of that rejection.
But yeah, I agree, man. Like Johnny, when people say it, and everybody's always like, "Oh, you're from Jersey, you're biased on this one." Sopranos is still my favorite show of all time.
Yeah, I mean it's the evolution of the anti-hero. You know, you hate that you're rooting for this guy who's a piece of crap. You know, but yet you can relate to him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Let's go to let's put our nerds hat here on for a minute.
All right.
Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Ooh.
You can only have one.
Oh, God, that's hard.
I know. Again, I get pissed at myself for asking myself this question.
Boy, that's really tough. You know, I'm gonna have to go with Star Wars just because it's all encompassing. It is a story that has been going on for a long time. You know, it's but when we can make the case,
he'll sleep on the couch if he gets it wrong. Wow.
She hates Lord of the Rings. Don't listen to her. I like Lord of the Rings, but I don't know. I think, you know, gun to my head, not that would ever happen. I'd say Star Wars for me.
Twitch?
Star Wars all the way.
I'm guessing the only Lord of the Rings guy up here in that conversation. And my only reason for it is Lord of the Rings has made 6 movies, 6 theatrical releases, and I've loved every one of them. Star Wars, the original 3 I loved. The second set, I liked the last one of the set. That was really the only one I really cared for all that much. And I'm not loving the new ones all that much. So if I had to get rid of one and only keep one, it would be Lord of the Rings for me.
Yeah, there you go.
MMA or boxing?
Ooh, I don't know. I think MMA. I like the variety. You know, boxing is classic. Don't get me wrong. There's something about boxing that is so just timeless. But I don't know, MMA. There's something about that too that's just for me. I think it's amazing just seeing all the different approaches that you can take, and I think it is an absolute art form. It's poetry in motion. I mean, so is boxing, but I think MMA. The education and the variety that comes into that with everything that you have to know. I think I prefer MMA personally.
Twitch?
I would have to go with boxing. Going off of what you said, John, only because it is a classic. I don't know. It's what I grew up watching mostly. So that's all I really know. I do watch some MMA, but I still go with boxing mostly.
Favorite fighters?
Well, I would say I'm going to go UFC here for a minute. I really am liking. First of all, just for a bearded moment, Eddie Wineland. I don't know if you've seen him. Yes.
Yep.
He may or may not be on the show next month.
Very cool. Wow.
Hint there. But I've enjoyed watching him. He's just, I don't know, he's classic to me. He's a scrapper. I like his style. But I mean, to go to Twitch's side of the coin, I'm sorry. You cannot tell me that there is a better fighter than Mike Tyson. And the man is a machine. He's an absolute machine. And have you seen his comeback? Like what he's been doing in the training and some of those videos?
He looks ridiculous.
It's absurd. Insane.
Listen, if Mike hadn't allowed his outside world to crumble, I still firmly believe that Tyson would have been undefeated until he retired.
100%. 100%. Absolutely.
Twitch?
Yeah, I'd have to go with Mike Tyson. Especially with like the comeback. Just crazy from like letting himself go to like bringing it all back in like real quickly.
Yes.
Just some of the videos that he's doing, you can see how quick he's still got hands. He still moves. And I mean, none of the older fellas I think are really there. Given Roy Jones Jr., I mean, you got to give it to him. He's a badass in his own respect as well. And he's also done a lot of other stuff besides just boxing as well. I don't know if you know, but he does like rapping too as well. So I mean, I just have to give it to Mike Tyson. I mean, he's just like you said, if he didn't let the outside world crumble on him a little bit, I think he would have continued to put out that fire that he was on. And I think at the end of the day, like the money aspect of it, I think is what really, done him in at that point. But I think he definitely got a chance, and he may be starting something of his own at this point. I think you'll see more older fighters try to make a comeback, and I think that maybe it'll just be like its own little thing. Where they maybe have other older fighters duke it out.
Trust me, you could be 100% right because there's money to be made here, and
that's what it's all about, right?
At the end of the day, if you go to one of these older fighters and you go, listen, the pay-per-view numbers are there, the ticket sales are there, we can offer you $20 million to get in here. You think anybody's going to say no to $20 million? Oh. You could offer me $20 million right now to get in the ring with Tyson Fury. I know the man's going to beat me half to death, but when I wake up, I'm going to be rich.
Yep.
So I'm in, if I had to choose one, it would be MMA. I love boxing. I'll always love boxing. But again, I have to echo what John said. MMA, I used to box when I was younger. So I know the dedication it takes to be a boxer. And I know that you have to go above and beyond that for MMA. So I have to give respect to them. And now and forever, the Diaz brothers will always be my favorites. Forever. The Scrap Pack, I love those dudes. They're always up for a fight. And they don't care where it is. It doesn't have to be in a cage.
That's true. It's a good point.
Scotch or tequila?
Do you even have to ask?
No, but, it's one of my questions.
Yeah, Twitch? Scotch for me, definitely.
Yeah, I'd have to definitely go with Scotch. It's the better of the boys. All
right, well, here's why I hope you guys watch basketball. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan. All day.
Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Man, nobody even tries to make the argument for LeBron. And that, listen, I get it. I'm a Mike fan too. I grew up a Mike fan. Mike was the greatest closer we've ever seen. But LeBron might be the best all around athlete we've ever seen in basketball.
I will not make. Listen, it's tough to disagree with it. I mean, he is a phenomenal player and an all around athlete, like you said. But I feel like Jordan has had to overcome a lot. And I mean, in a day and an age where, in my opinion, the league was a little bit more stacked and even. And don't forget the Bulls sucked when Jordan first came into the league. And, he single handedly changed. He changed the NBA forever. I mean, there's because of Jordan, you can have a LeBron James. Maybe that's why I think Jordan's the winner there.
Listen, like I said, I'm not gonna say if people ask me, I think Jordan is still the best, but I think this thought that like LeBron isn't even close, I think people are crazy. Because complete all around talent, we have seen very few guys come along like LeBron James. There's nothing on a basketball court that he can't do, and he can't do it extremely well.
Yeah.
But I just think the mentalities are different. Jordan was a killer, period. Whereas LeBron's more of a facilitator. He wants everyone to get involved. Jordan's, the game's on the line, and you think you're touching the ball, you're out of your mind. Give me the ball, I'm going to go end this.
His insanity and competitiveness, I think, are unrivaled. I mean, the only other athletes I can think of are Tiger Woods that comes close to that. Just watching a man just black out and take things to a level just to strict God mode.
Right. All right. So a couple more to go here. Baseball or hockey?
Hockey. All day.
Both. So I really don't know which direction I'm really going, but I guess if I had to only pick one, I guess it would be baseball.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know if you guys are car heads like I am, but American muscle or import?
The jackass in me loves the imports. I can appreciate the sexiness of a lot of those cars, especially Porsche. I love Porsche, but when it comes down to it, there is nothing like a Chevy. There's nothing like American cars that just make your freaking windows rattle. The cars from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, that was art. That was art. Those things are freaking boats, but they are beautiful. They're absolutely stunning.
Twitch?
I definitely would have to counter that with import. I mean, I definitely can agree with John. I mean, they definitely are very sexy. There's something that you'll never get out of an import that you do with the classic. But I still have to go with import. I mean, to me, a Nissan R34 Skyline is just one of the most, not just iconic cars, but a car that you can put, the very least amount of money into almost and still be able to go down the strip pretty fast. So
here's what I would say to you, though, sir. This is the only thing I would say to you is the next time you get a chance, all right, if one ever comes to your area, go to a Street Outlaws No Prep Kings event and watch two of those monsters line up next to each other and listen to them rip down the track. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Nothing like hearing those big American monsters tear out of the line, dude. Nothing.
So
Nothing.
I've been to the Dragster, man. I definitely agree with you. I don't know. I just like. I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but like the Lexus put out the IS300 in like 2000 to like 05, 2001, 05. Basically, it's a TJZ with less, like the internals aren't as strong as a Supra, but basically it's like a four-door sedan with the heart of a Supra. I mean, you can take that thing and just, do amazing drifting with it, and that alone just kind of goes to show like what you can do with those machines. But again, I mean, I've seen a lot of like the newer Mustangs that are getting put out on the track and drifting. So I mean, it just I don't know. I still go import. I don't. I just like the sleekness of them. Um, but I don't know.
All right, a
It's
few more to
hard
go here,
questioning
guys.
to be a lot of both.
5 or 6 more to go here, and we can go through a couple of these quick. Pizza or burger?
Ooh. Pizza. I have to. Pizza.
Twitch?
Definitely pizza.
Yeah, see, I've got to agree. There's nothing better than a slice of pizza to me, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Godfather or Goodfellas?
Ooh. I love my mob movies. Okay, so damn. Okay, now I would say the greatest mafia movie ever created is Godfather 2. I'll go to my grave on that one. And yes, Sober Chef, thank you for the clarification. And that is why I will say, between the original Godfather and Goodfellas, I think Goodfellas takes it. But if you stack that up against Godfather 2, I don't think anything touches Godfather 2.
I'm saying the original Godfather.
Okay, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas is my answer.
Twitch?
Yeah, I would say Goodfellas. Just so many. I mean, both movies are good, but I mean, Goodfellas has got a lot of iconic scenes that are still to this day like classic.
I would agree with you guys. It's Goodfellas. However, I would also agree that Godfather 2 is arguably the greatest mafia movie in history. But against the original, even though that's still a great movie, Goodfellas takes the nod. Pesci's performance alone should get you there.
Oh,
okay?
God.
That's
Even down to the point where he gets popped, he does it well and he looks good.
Yes, absolutely. Favorite candy bar?
Oh, well, does it have to be a bar or can it just be candy in general?
Candy in general. Favorite candy?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Okay.
I will stuff that down my gullet until I am bloated like a foie gras goose.
Dude, I buy the king size ones, and then I take off all the chocolate edging first,
Yep.
and I stack them on top of each other, and I just eat it like that. It's ridiculous.
I have put myself into near diabetic shock consuming. I tell you, man, I bags, bro, bags at a time.
So am I, Bluegrass. So am I. Waiting on that Sopranos movie. I know they filmed it. I don't know if they finished. Twitch, favorite candy?
I would probably have to go with like peanut butter Twix.
That's another good one. That's another good one. I like the peanut butter Twix. That's a good one. Favorite actor?
Ooh.
Oh.
Man, that's a tough one. Okay. Oh, Joey Diaz.
What's up, Mike?
Hilarious. Good old Coco.
Yeah,
Let's see. Favorite actor. Damn, that's hard. I don't know.
Wait till the next one. Everybody gets stumped on the next one. Wait.
I like Leo a lot, but for me, Daniel Day-Lewis is damn hard to beat. The man commits to a role. He's a method actor. One of my favorite movies of all time is There Will Be Blood. And Daniel Plainview, to me, is one of the greatest characters ever designed. And I think he absolutely murdered that role. And a fantastic mustache to boot. He has a lot of fantastic mustaches. You know, he's Bill the Butcher in Gangs of New York. So.
Oh, my God. Such a great role, too. Yeah. He absolutely was Bill the Butcher. Like,
he was.
Nobody else was made for that role but him.
He crushed it.
Crushed it. Twitch, favorite actor, sir?
I'd have to go with Pesci just because of what he's done in like the mob movie scenes.
Absolutely, Joe's a good call. For me, it's always like a back and forth one, and I'm always arguing with myself. However, I always find myself more recently coming back to two names who I'm always going to love. One of them is a newer guy by Tom Hardy. I don't know.
Ooh.
Love Tom Hardy. Absolutely love him. He's an amazing actor in so many different ways. And then the other guy who I always gravitate back to is Robert De Niro.
Oh,
I've always loved Bob. He's a classic. And
yes.
some of the roles, he's like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Mean Streets. He was amazing in that.
Tremendous.
Just so many great roles that. But here's the one that seems to really stump people. You ready? Favorite actress?
This is a tough one.
And you can base it off whatever criteria you want. If you want to base it off of her on-screen abilities, or if you just want to base it off the fact that you love to look at her all day long. Whatever your call is.
Well, I can give you two answers on that. I would say, as far as strict ability and talent, it's hard to beat Meryl Streep. That woman can do just about anything. Her ability to play a villain or to play someone who's a very compelling protagonist, she's nailed that. Her ability to adapt and change roles, I think, is bar none. She's very good. Judi Dench is the same way too. I put Dame Judi Dench up there. To look at, oh yeah, I mean, for me, Charlize Theron is up there, but I'd have to say even Selma Hayek.
Oh, I love Selma, dude. Love. I mean, that was like my first on-screen crush was when I saw her. I was like, oh my God, if he made anything better than you, he saved it for himself. I was
Yep. I'll tell you, it's true. I've always had a thing for Latin women. They're just, I think they're some of the most beautiful women in the world. I'm obviously partial. My wife is Brazilian, so yeah, you don't get much better than that, in my opinion.
Isn't your wife in here, young man?
Of course she is. Gorgeous.
And Beard Gents, yes, you did, sir. You said Selma as well. She's a timeless classic, man. Selma is just, oh, God, I love that woman. Twitch, favorite actress?
I'd have to go with Charlize Theron just for her role that she did in Monster Ball.
Okay.
As far as to look at, I really don't know. There's so many of them. And Selma Hayek scares me now after she turned into that demon.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. That was creepy.
So one of my favorites, and I always drop a different one but this is honestly, she's been in my top forever, and that's Angelina Jolie. I love the woman. Everything about the woman I've loved forever until she got with Brad and she went a little bit nutty. But before all that, there was just nobody hotter on the planet to me. So it'll always be her. PlayStation or Xbox?
Well, I'm going to have to go Xbox only because my formative years in college were played with Xbox before.
Oh.
Yeah, before things got all cool with online and connectivity, I don't play anymore really that much. I wish I did, but we were running wires through floors and crap, so yeah, I don't know. I have to go Xbox. I know that's unpopular.
Twitch.
PS4, and they got
there. You go
with the PSP. I think that had legs to walk away with like a phone style thing, but I don't know. I don't think they really wanted to put that much money into it.
All right. Favorite actual game that you've played for whatever system? I don't care what it is.
For me, Fallout 3.
Okay, my brother is a big Fallout fan. There's just too much to do for me. I like survival games and such, but Fallout just goes way above and beyond for me.
I love the granular detail, the ability to do anything you want to do and be whatever you want to be and play it however you want to play. Yeah, Matt, Skyrim, anything by Bethesda. It's a tie for me, really, between Skyrim and the Fallout series, but Skyrim's pretty damn good too.
Twitch?
I would have to go with Tony Hawk Pro Skater #1. The graphics are really, really crappy, but they're remastering it. So next month they should be releasing 1 and 2 for PS4, and I believe next month as well. So.
The Witcher 3. If you guys haven't played it yet, you're welcome. All right, I'm gonna put you guys on the spot a little bit here, and I can already hear the answers coming. Favorite beer company? They both freeze. They both freeze in the same moment. Like, what did he just ask us?
It's hard for me to say that. It really is, and I'm not taking the cheap way out. It's like
I expect the cheap way out, so I'm good. Either way, I'm good.
Listen, I'm very good at talking, so I'll figure something out here. But for me, I don't know. Like I appreciate companies for many different reasons, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I can't honestly answer that. Just something I can give you my favorites. Right here, definitely one of my all-time favorites. Bearded Mac. I can just can't say enough good things about. I love his sense, the uniqueness, the feel.
Okay, so what if I make this a little bit easier? A little bit easier.
Okay.
How about if I make it a little bit easier here? Give me your favorite scent profile. How's that?
Easy. Yeah. For me, anything with tobacco in it. I love tobacco scents. If it's tobacco leather, tobacco coffee. Yeah, like I'll even give you one step further. I will tell you my favorite scent of all time.
Go ahead.
And I'll even give you the company. It's Hanyaker, and it's the Humidor. It is my favorite scent of all time. To me, I'm a big cigar smoker. I love cigars. I love pipes. It smells like you just opened up a humidor, and it's that smell of cedar and tobacco, and it's complex. It's my favorite scent.
I love Hanyaker. I haven't gotten to try the humidor though, but Hanyaker makes some amazing stuff. Twitch?
Oh yeah.
As far as favorite scent profile, I would say anything cologne type or anything that has oud in it. That's pretty much what I'm into. So a lot of things that I'm reviewing lately are kind of out of my comfort zone. That's good because you definitely find things that you didn't think you'd like. So it's kind of also why I'm venturing out into things that aren't cologne. As far as like the favorite cologne scent that I've got, it'd have to go with Shatter Fry from Chronic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Shadowfly is so good, dude.
Put that butter
And
in there.
Chris Feeling Beard is second to very few out there, man.
His butters are sick.
All right.
Ridiculously good. Ridiculously. And Mike's an awesome dude on top of everything
Yes, he
else.
is.
Like, just an awesome individual. So that's definitely an amazing choice. All right, you guys ready for the two biggest questions in the beer world right now?
Let's go.
All right. You go to a restaurant and you're ordering a steak. How should that steak be cooked?
Medium rare.
No, stop talking. Twitch. No.
Medium rare all day.
Yeah, I think the pictures I posted the other day, I think, speak for themselves. It has to be medium rare.
Oh, no. Johnny will lose. Where's Code? Where's Beard Code? Code, we're losing tonight, man. You're not in here to back me up.
I mean, I'll compromise in the middle. I'll do like a medium well.
No. And then the biggest question out there, does pineapple belong on pizza?
It depends on how many beers I've had. You know, I don't know, man. I can appreciate it, but I'm going to say no. It does not.
Thank you. Twitch.
Just depends on how I'm feeling. most of the time it's the wife that says we should get. I'm like, no. So I would have to probably go with no. But there are times where you get that jalapeno pizza and that pineapple does balance it out very well. So
No, it doesn't. You know why? Because pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. That's why it doesn't work. Okay? It's got its own juice. It doesn't work, all right? It's just not okay. And it's not cool. That's it, guys. Awesome job. Thank you so much. I know the company one wasn't exactly fair, and I figured I wasn't going to get a real answer, but every now and again you throw it out there just to see if somebody's going to actually jump and just throw their favorite company out.
Yes.
You never know. But I get it. We're all reviewers and stuff like that, so it's an unfair question because if you actually throw your favorite out there, then every time you review that company, everybody's like, well, it's going to say it's amazing. It's his favorite. So I get it. It's cool, guys.
I love it, man.
Thank you guys for entertaining me through those questions. I appreciate it. And I want to thank both of you for being amazing guests. Seriously, it was an awesome, awesome night. Guys, if you haven't yet, you need to go subscribe to both of these individuals as soon as you can. And if they dragged you over here, then you need to go subscribe to me, please. You know, it works both ways here. Works both ways. Take care of each other. And both of these individuals did amazing jobs putting on a fundraiser and raising money for different charities in this community. And really, that's what tonight was about. It was about a little bit of spotlight on all the good that this community can, has, and continue to do. So as we get ready to wrap it up here, I've got one last question, and that is, do you guys have any future plans for upcoming charity events?
Yes, potentially some things happening in November, a couple of different irons in the fire, but I'm thinking sometime in November there will be something else coming up. It hasn't really formulated or taken full shape yet, but there are some things in motion, yes.
Twitch, my brother, anything planned?
Yeah, I mean, there could potentially be something for the future here next few months. As far as like the one I did this year, I'll probably continue doing that one. So next year, we'll see that one come around again.
And just so everyone knows, yes, I will be back. We will be doing the Children's Silver Foundation again. And I am also currently looking into another one. As I get more things worked out, I'll let you guys know. But it's another one that hits close to home for my family. For me, I won't just like do random ones. I like to do ones that have something to do with us personally and something that connects us to the situation. I think it comes across more genuine then, and people relate to it better and understand where you're coming from with those situations. So, guys, again, these individuals here, I have to give credit where it's due. This idea actually came from Dan. He was the one who said, why don't you reach out to them and see if you can get all three is on screen together. All three of you did something really amazing in the community. You can kind of highlight that and show some of the good this community has done. And I think we did that really well tonight, guys. Thank you both so much for joining me. Seriously, it was an honor.
Thank you so much for having us, man. Appreciate you, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, brother. It's been fun.
And Twitch brothers, seriously, we appreciate you rushing through homework and everything else to get on here with us, man. Seriously, I appreciate that, brother. You didn't have to, but it was very much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem.
Definitely.
Guys, again, this is another episode of Meet Your Maker in the books, man. Thank you all so much for making this actually a thing. Like, I'm not just up here talking to myself every week, so that's appreciated. You know, I love all you guys, and we'll be back next week. We have another guest lined up for you. I'm not going to tell you yet, though. You'll have to wait until Monday when I put the post up. So until then, we'll see you guys soon. Stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And we'll see you guys next time, all right?
See ya. Cheers.